Prepare to experience the strongest radio allowable by law. Secrets will be revealed. Myths dispelled. From the studio gym where excuses never apply, it's Superhuman Radio with your host, Carl Lenore.
This is Science for Humans with Dr. Jeff Galini.
On the other side of the aging spectrum, we have Dr. J, who seems to be aging perfectly. How you doing, Dr. J?
You're so kind, Carl. Dang, a tricep pull, I heard.
Yeah, I tore it. I didn't tear it off the bone because I can still flex the entire tricep, but there is a lump in it that implies that there's some proud flesh coming out of a muscle belly. So we'll see what happens.
Wow.
Hey, it's not going to stop me. It's just going to slow me down for a little while. That's all.
I always say run over to Radio Shack, get a couple new parts, and keep on rolling.
I wish I could do that. I can't wait for the day to go. Well, you know what? I'm going to be very honest with you. I mean, I'm using some advanced science. I'm going to be site injecting mechanogrowth factor and BPC 157 directly into the area of the wound, the injury. That's going to definitely heal me a lot faster, I predict. And then, the other things that I do with supplements, make sure my creatine is high, and thanks to Crealkaline and, and proper nutrition. And I'll just train the right side so there's cross-education going on in the nervous system, and that's it.
Yeah, that's interesting. It kind of fits into recovery, but a friend of mine, Dr. Rob O'Leary, you probably remember his father, Bob O'Leary.
Yeah.
But that's what he's into, is all of this recovery for athletes, these stem cells in these injury sites. It's pretty interesting is how he has been explaining to me about it. It's a little expensive, but, for high-end athletes, it's definitely worth the recovery.
Yeah, if you got $1 million contracts in your future, you're going to spend a couple bucks to make sure that your body responds properly to injuries.
You got to. And speaking of recovery, not that you weren't recovered,
no, but that's the topic today, and this is part of recovery.
Yeah, it is, because I think recovery is something that especially younger athletes, they fail to think about. Especially, the high school and the collegiate where, in college you're studying, you're up all night, you're trying to adjust your social life, your fraternity brothers and sisters, and you're burning the candle at both ends.
And I got to be honest with you, that's the difference between a serious athlete and a non-serious athlete. I'm being honest right now.
It is.
The serious athletes, they go to bed early. They don't have much of a social life. They're dedicated to the sport.
Yep. And we've had this conversation, and, that's what I tell people is, how many times have you seen somebody, even in the gym, and they're saying, oh, my strength isn't going up. I can't grow. I can't gain weight. And then, well, what did you do last night? Oh, well, I was out at the bar and, got drunk. And it's like, that's...
tequila shooters. That's not part of the protein synthetic
weekend warrior, that's fine if you want to get in the gym and, but...
What's number one? What's number one for recovery, Dr. J? What's the number one thing that affects recovery?
The number one thing is actually rest. And I think this is what, people don't get, is you gotta get sleep. And my rule of thumb is 8 hours, and I know people say, oh, well, I can live on 4, and you know what? You can't recover. That is when everything happens, is while you're sleeping. And, you've got to get a good night's sleep. You grow, you recover. What do you think about sleep, Carl?
I think it's very underestimated. It's very important. And I agree with you 100%. I mean,
yeah,
I think that's the number one. Nothing happens if you're not getting good sleep. Nothing. In fact, if you're not getting good sleep, the worst thing happens. The training doesn't repair. The training breaks you down from session to session, and you get sicker from it.
You're going to get injured. I mean, if you're just lifting, for bodybuilding or fitness or, in that bodybuilding sport, you're not going to grow. And, if you're a basketball player, football, even last year, I think it was, or the year before, the NBA was really looking at how many games that these guys played because there was just too many injuries. That you just can't recover playing a game every day. It's very, very tough. But what happens is you get hurt. I mean, you're going to pull something, you're going to break something. Your body just has to have time to recuperation and recovery. You can't train every single day. So not only do you need to rest from workouts, you've got to get rest as far as sleep goes. So if you're not getting a good night's sleep, again, there's a whole lot of recommendations from looking at, possibly getting off of gluten, not drinking caffeine too late in the night, not too much sugar at night. I mean, there's a whole kind of recommendations we could go off on, helping one sleep better.
But definitely getting adequate sleep. And you know what else, too? I made some of my greatest gains when I would train early in the morning, eat after I trained, and then actually napped about an hour later. Not a long nap, 20 minutes. I mean, I would doze off, I would wake up, but I would nap. And I got to tell you something. That's frowned upon in today's society. Oh, you're not working hard enough if you're taking a 20-minute nap in the afternoon. I say BS. You're fresher. You think better. You feel better. But more importantly, I think that post-workout nap, which is natural because we all feel like we could fall asleep. If you've trashed yourself in the gym,
oh yeah,
you know what I'm talking about, right?
Well, when we were training, that's what we did. We trained early in the morning. We ate. And then we went to the beach, and you slept. I mean, you just laid out in the sun like a whale on the beach. I mean, you slept.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was great. I mean, you could almost see the evening workout, the difference just from getting that rest and nap. And I remember there'd be times I'd be out in the sun for 5 hours. I mean, and sleep almost the whole time. But
right.
You needed it. When you're tired, your body is telling you something.
Right.
You don't have all those lights on your dash that are blinking when you got to change oil. My car now, when I'm on the highway, if it thinks I'm tired, it will vibrate and a little thing will come up and say, pull over and get some coffee.
Yeah, because it can tell that you're swaying in and out of lines and stuff. I know.
Yeah, destruction, cool. Man, is coming if you don't.
Okay, so number one on the list for recovery is sleep. Don't ignore it, and even try taking a nap post-workout if you can fit it into your day. Don't worry what other people think. Number two, what's the second thing on the list?
So, again, these are all important, but number two on the list is the types of food and how much.
This is huge. I got to tell you something. This is huge. The fact that it's on your list, I was so impressed because it's not just getting enough calories, but it's the type of foods that you eat that are going to change the landscape of recovery. Talk about it.
So, yeah, and exactly. And, this is the problem with, and again, I don't want to come across and I'm bashing, if you're a vegetarian or vegan or, you give up something for some reason. We're talking about athletes. So we're throwing aside all of this. We're just going to get right down to it. Food. And I only said rest was important, number one, because it is. But food is equally important. You cannot grow. You cannot recover without food. So the number one thing, you got to get in protein. So a lot of experienced guys understand protein. Inexperienced people don't. 3 protein meals a day is not going to fuel your muscles so that those muscles will recover and grow. You can only absorb so much protein at one time. That's why bodybuilders learn that every 2.5 to 3 hours, you can get in another 35 grams of protein. You need about 1.5 grams per pound of body weight. Now, that's just kind of my talking sake, like saying you need 8 hours of sleep. But you got to get quality protein. McDonald's fish sandwich is not quality protein. McDonald's hamburger is not quality protein. We're not talking about, like you said, gaining weight. We're talking about recovery, feeding the muscles. You gotta feed them. So fish, almost any type of fish. Now again, if you deep fat fry it and you ruin it like that, it might taste better, but you're going to kind of destroy the whole protein and absorption. You're going to denature those proteins. You're going to convert a lot of it to creatinine. The creatine aspect. Red meat. A lot of people say no red meat. Red meat is great for recovery. Chicken, turkey. Well, what if there's any more poultry? And I'm not a big pork person personally. But again, if you like it, those are all nice lean cuts of meats. And then if you just can't get enough food in, like most of us, this is where we take a protein drink in between. So you might eat 3 or 4 meals a day, but you can drink 2 or 3 meals a day. So protein is the first part, Carl, that's crucial.
I got to tell you something else, too. So when I went out to California for a few weeks, I started a very strict ketogenic diet, which I'm still on today. And I got to tell you something that I noticed about the ketogenic diet. This is not placebo, but I'm going to tell you why I think it is. So I recover so fast that I can train every single day and feel strong every single day. And I have, for the past 4 weeks, done some massive leg, back, and chest workouts and not taken any time off. I mean, at one point I trained 8 out of 9 days, hitting my legs a couple times, hitting my back. I mean, but this is not, I did not intend to do this. But here's my theory, okay? It takes an inflammatory response to spark recovery and renewed muscle growth. If your body is a wasteland of inflammation because you're eating a lot of the wrong types of carbohydrates that increase inflammation, if you're eating a lot of the wrong types of oils that increase inflammation, if you're doing a lot of the things, have gut problems, not sleeping right, that increase the inflammation, chronic inflammation on a wide scale, the body doesn't see the workout as a reason to turn on the repair machinery because the body is busy putting out fires everywhere all day long. When you suppress chronic inflammation, now that workout creates a PIP, if you will, a peak of an inflammatory response that the body goes, oh, we have something to deal with. Let's get all our resources over there now and get that taken care of, and you recover faster. And this is why you're so spot on about this. Yeah. I think that people fail to understand that if your body is a city on fire, the fire department can't handle all the fires, so the city burns down. But if the city's not on fire, but one house on a street is on fire, the fire department can handle that, and they put the fire out. So you need to get chronic inflammation under control. It's not an old person problem. It's if you're an athlete, you need to understand this because you'll recover faster and more completely from your workouts. What do you think of that?
Yeah, and I agree. And just within the food, like you said, a lot of it sometimes is just their diet. Eating all this processed. That's why I put protein first. Now, obviously, going the ketogenic type diet route, I'm not a fan of, but all of our bodies are different, so you got to find what works best for you. So I'm going to give you what I think is best. So I'm a definite carbohydrate person, but again, there are quality carbohydrates like there are quality proteins.
Yeah.
Eating a loaf of white bread. The other day, a guy in the gym said, "I'm upping my carbs," and I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm eating a loaf of white bread twice a day." And that's what I said. So how do you even choke it down, let alone, with butter, And I'm like, dude, I don't have anything to say.
Have more vegetables. Have more, zucchini, squash. I mean, pick vegetables, eat vegetables. That's what you want.
But carbohydrates, potatoes, rice, because I'm gluten-free now, I'm going to tell you to stay away from, a lot of the weedy things. Not that, maybe you can absorb them. But again, the things that are a little bit quicker absorbing.
Potatoes are great. Again, potatoes are fantastic for you.
Potatoes and yams are, again, when I was bodybuilding, I lived on those things, off-season and diet. I very rarely, had breads and pastas. I'd always have some sourdough and things in the morning. But again, quality. Quality carbohydrates is not, Wonder White bread. It's not donuts. It's not all these refined processed carbohydrates, scones and things that you get in the grocery store. Those are counterproductive because, again, there's too much sugar and can lead to that chronic inflammation.
All right, here's what I want to do. I want to take a break, and then I want to now come back and talk about supplements because, as we point out here, sleep and nutrition are of paramount importance, and supplements should be seen as that, supplementing those two things. Assuming you have your sleep right, you're eating right, you don't have this chronic inflammation going on all the time. Let's talk about what supplements can actually help with recovery, okay?
Absolutely.
All right, so stay tuned. We're talking with Dr. J. This is Dr. J's Tips. You asked for it, we're delivering. Stay tuned. Do you know how to properly use carbohydrates to ignite your performance in the field and in the gym? You will now, thanks to this free book by EFX Sports. The Carb User's Guide for Maximum Performance reveals why omitting carbohydrates from your diet can totally crush your gains. Ever wonder how many grams you need for your specific sport? Not anymore. We give you the critical number you need to dominate your competition. You'll even discover the super carb that's taking the athletic world by storm. You must try it to believe it. Go to getcarbolin.com/carb guide today and get your copy absolutely free. Once again, it's getkarbolin.com/CARBGUIDE. 4.6 million years of evolution gave us the blueprint for the perfect protein supplement for humans. So why do all protein supplement manufacturers ignore it? We don't. The first human-appropriate protein supplement is Thrive Advanced. Built around the blueprint of mother's milk, Thrive Advanced contains the amino acids, peptides, micronutrients, enzymes, probiotics, and vitamins that support protein absorption and assimilation. All of our dairy proteins come from happy cows on pastures here in the United States and are low-heat pasteurized. You'll never find any artificial sweeteners, additives, or ingredients. You won't even find thickeners or gums in Thrive Advanced. And we back up our label claims with post-production lab analysis that's available right on our website. Visit superhumanradio.com and click the Thrive Advanced banner ad and use code SHR and save 50% off your entire order today. The health and performance benefits of phytonutrients are indisputable, but getting all of your phytonutrients from your diet is difficult. That's why Prime Nutrition introduced PhytoForm. PhytoForm has nearly 11 grams of all the micronized veggies, fruits, fiber, minerals, and antioxidants you need. Alfalfa, organic spirulina, and chlorella, plus acai, pomegranate, goji, bilberry, blueberry, raspberry, cranberry, and papaya. Cabbage, spinach, broccoli, beet, the list goes on and on. You won't find a better, more complete fruits and greens blend anywhere. It even includes PQQ, which has been shown to improve mitochondrial biogenesis. Go to superhumanradio.com and click the Prime Nutrition banner ad today and use coupon code SHR to save 30% off. Prime Nutrition, the best or nothing.
There are a few products that I believe in the way I believe in Can-C eye drops. I've been using Can-C for 6 months now, and the changes in my vision are nothing short of amazing.
Wow, that's an old commercial. The truth is I've been using Can-C eye drops for 11 years now, and I credit Can-C eye drops as being the reason that I do not need reading glasses at 58 years old. Can-C eye drops improves the quality and health of your eyes indefinitely. That's why I both use and endorse Can-C eye drops. Go to wisechoicemedicine.com and learn about how Can-C eye drops can improve the health of your eyes and the quality of your vision today.
Nobel Prize-winning research shows telomeres are an important part of preventing cellular aging. Slowing down telomere shortenings promotes healthy cell replication and longevity. This is simple, folks. Supplement today with the longevity breakthrough of the century, Telos 95. Telos 95 provides the only scientifically validated telomere support ingredient in every capsule. Save 15% off when you use the code TELOS95. Go to superhumanradio.com today and click the Telos 95 banner ad. Age better with Telos 95, the cutting-edge technology that's a leap forward in the science of aging with research that was conducted by world experts on telomere analysis using worldwide patented technology.
Now, the #1 best-selling non-hormonal anabolic agent at PredatorNutrition.com. Progenadrex has established itself as the category killer. If you're having difficulty gaining muscle while staying lean, you owe it to yourself to try Progenadrex. 100% of store reviews rated it at 5 stars, the highest possible ranking. And today, right now, there are guys pouring their hearts out in the gym with little or nothing to show for it. Don't waste any more time. Go to PredatorNutrition.com today and get Progenadrex, the world's absolute best drug-free muscle gainer.
AnabolicMinds.com is the premier website for credible information on building muscle, burning fat, supplementation, and more. With over 100,000 active registered members and over 2.5 million posts, it's one of the largest communities on the internet to get help and answers to your questions. It's also the place that the official Superhuman Radio Forum is hosted. Visit AnabolicMinds.com today and get into the action. AnabolicMinds.com. Learn, teach, lead.
This is the Superhuman Channel. Evolution just got kicked up a notch.
Welcome back to Science for Humans, where Dr. Jeff is sharing his training tips with us. As an IFBB pro bodybuilder, he was part of a very, very unique and high echelon of bodybuilders who achieved certain physical perfections, and so we can gain a lot of insight. We're talking about recovery because everybody talks about working out, but people forget that nothing happens if you don't recover from your workouts. And so we covered nutrition and rest, the two critical linchpins in recovery. What about supplements? You think people rely too much on supplements? Are there some supplements that we should be paying attention to?
I think there's two sides of the fence. There's some that don't rely on supplements at all, and then there's some that rely on it too much and don't get enough food. But absolutely, if your sleep and your nutrition is in line, you need supplements for recovery. And as you kind of open up, the first one that I would put at the top of the list is creatine. And of course, I'm very partial to crealkaline because it is the, only stable form of creatine monohydrate. But this is what starts the whole energy cycle. I mean, this is how you create ATP. Your body needs to produce creatine. You need to ingest creatine, whether it's from your food sources. But athletes, we need more than the normal person because of what we're burning. So I recommend, 1.5 grams in the morning and 1.5 grams about 3 minutes for training. Off days, just 1.5 grams in the morning. Now, obviously, if you're, a 300-pound athlete or, you're a professional, you might need more. But for majority of people, that's enough to get in your system because, again, you're going to be eating meat and proteins that contain creatine. So that should be enough to get you going. The other thing I put at the top of the list is multivitamin. Because, again, if you are absorbing your proteins and sufficiently in your fats, then they're not going to go toward muscle growth. And we know that B vitamins are essential for the absorption. And, of course, I'm partial to VitaDrive because we make it, and I know it's a good product, and I use it myself.
Yeah, you know what's in it.
Well, exactly. The other thing that, a lot of athletes don't know about is something called branched-chain amino acids. When you are exercising, the easiest way to put it is you are expending these particular amino acids first. The old talk was you break down muscle, you burn muscle. Well, the branched chains are leucine, isoleucine, and valine. So by replenishing your system, either pre, post, with a BCAA, a branched chain amino acid, again, you're going to help get that muscle a lot quicker, and it's going to aid in recovery. The thing is glutamine. Very, very good as a recuperation and recovery. And, of course, I'm partial to my patented Glutasorb only because it's stable. But glutamine is a good product.
And you have a new glutamine. I know you weren't necessarily looking to plug it, but you have a new glutamine that's also a stabilized glutamine. Why is that important? Why do we need a stabilized glutamine?
Well, I think, my patent on these amino acids, I also have a new patented BCAA that I don't have on the market yet. But again, things degrade in the stomach. So, when you stabilize something, it means that it's not going to degrade. So you're going to have more available to the system, if it doesn't degrade. Plus, we don't know exactly what it degrades into. We know that creatine converts to creatinine, which is a bio-waste, but I don't know what that process, what it turns into. It obviously isn't going to be something good for you. But again, if it costs or you don't want to, get 80 cents worth. I mean, if you go to a store and a place and you buy a milkshake and it's only a third, you'd want the rest of it, or you'd want your money back.
Yeah, so. Starbucks is dealing with that right now, right? With people complaining that there's too much ice in the iced coffee, and they want their money's worth of coffee back.
So again, buying something that's not stable is like buying something that's half,
Yeah, it makes a big difference.
And of course, Carl, the supplement Santa, as I think people are now adapting. I had a guy the other day on Facebook said, "This whole Santa thing for real?"
Yeah, I know. I think people are amazed by what you send because they put pictures of it on Facebook all the time when they get these boxes of stuff,
They do. So, of course, if anyone wants to try anything that we do, go to Superhuman Radio, look for Dr. Jeff Ask the Scientist. But anyhow, I want to kind of finish up with, I call it having the right mindset. And you kind of nipped it in the beginning, Carl, that, an athlete isn't somebody who isn't taking care of their body. It isn't someone who goes out, and gets drunk all the time. It isn't someone who is eating terrible, who's not resting, who's not training. So again, you got to have the right mindset. If you really want to achieve your goals, then you've got to have a vision of what you want to do. Mm-hmm. And look at, if you ever listen to anything Arnold Schwarzenegger has said, I mean, that's what he was so adamant about is, you've got to eat, live, and breathe if you're successful. And I can guarantee that any professional in sport, that is the dominant thing that they do. Everything else is in moderation, but their sport comes first.
Yeah, it's got to be. And it's, the other side to the mindset thing is this. If you're living a high-stress lifestyle, if you're in a high-stress job, if you have a high-stress relationship, if you feel stressed out all day long, it's working against you from a recovery standpoint. You need to learn how to manage your stress. I cannot recommend strongly enough things like mindfulness and meditation if you want to make gains. There's a lot of people, back in the day that Frank Zane and those guys who they used training as a form of meditation in motion. And they took that even further later on in life. But if you're stressed out all the time, you're not going to recover as well as you can. And let's face it, we can't just shut stress off. There's stuff that happens every single day. You tear a tricep, a piece of equipment fails before a radio show. I mean, these are the things that happen to me, right? You got to learn how to take things in stride, because if you get too stressed out, the chemicals that you produce from stress are actually inhibiting the progress you're looking to make in the gym. Learn how to de-stress. Learn how to take it down a notch. Go back to the shows that Ken O'Neill and I did about the 4 different forms of meditation and listen to those. Grab one of them and start doing it. Even if you do it haphazardly and you don't do it well, it's still going to be better than not doing it at all.
Well, and the thing about training is it relieves stress, but leave your cell phone in your bag. Don't take your stress into the gym with you. I mean,
yeah.
Deconnect with the world, man, and just think about training and exercising and having fun. The phone and all the problems will be there when you leave.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And that's the other part of the mindset thing. I think that people don't get that. They don't realize that being high stress all the time, being revved up all the time, being in that fight or flight mode all the time is actually working against you reaching your goals.
Oh, you're gonna break down. I mean, it's gonna happen. So,
if you want to try Crealkaline or Carbolin, go to superhumanradio.com, bottom right hand side of the webpage. You'll see Ask the Scientist. Click that and ask Dr. Jeff for some free samples, and check it out for yourself. We know a lot of people. In fact, Wade Johnson was just on yesterday. Yes, I think it was Monday, I believe he was on. I forget. And he talked about how far they're going in training and how he and Melissa depend on Carbolin on the days where they go and compete. Because you can't have a big meal and, you're waiting around all day long to get your lifts done. And they just use Carbolin in between sessions to keep their energy levels up, and they swear by it. So Carbolin is an amazing carbohydrate product that if you're an athlete, you should know about. Get a free sample of Carbolin there as well.
Absolutely.
All right, Dr. J, thank you so much for today, and we will talk again next week.
All right, buddy. You take care and take care of that try.
Yeah, I will.